Tuesday of this week was the National Day of Remembrance and Action on Violence Against Women. It commemorates the 33rd anniversary of the mass shooting in Montreal at École Polytechnique Engineering School, which saw 14 women lose their lives. Fortunately, according to Stats Canada, over the past 12 years, cases of domestic violence have been decreasing. Officials at the University of Lethbridge held a learning lunch on Tuesday, highlighting the need to learn what it takes so that everyone is safe and accepted. So Martha, tell me, do you see that there is a path forward away from domestic and gender-based violence?
That's a very interesting question. I think it's not something that one person can actually solve. I think it goes beyond that. I think it's about how we as a collective, a community, be it academic community, but also the broader community, can contribute to making sure that there is safety for everyone. And I think it really starts with the acknowledgement that it does happen, because a lot of these issues, gender-based violence, does not always get reported because of the fear of the stigma that goes with it. So I think the first piece is the acknowledgement of the existence and the collective responsibility to move the issues forward and address them.
Awesome. And what has been the response this week from the students as they learn about domestic and gender-based violence? What have they been saying after taking the training?
First of all, people, when you talk about it, they're not sure what it means. So I think there's a lot of education pieces that have to be done. But the piece, I also think it's important that we are, as an institution, we are part of making the changes we want to see. And what we have done is we've implemented where students are required to take this training at the beginning of their programs, but also we as senior leaders are also going to be taking the training as well. So I think I wouldn't say there's been any pushback. I think people are just not clear about what it is and what it's not. And there's a lot of misinformation in the system. So I think it's about clarifying what it is and the intention and the impact we're working towards and how we engage people to be part of the conversation. It's not about pushing one group against the other, but how do we bring everybody into the conversation so that we can collectively address it, would be my response to that.
Thank you. That was a great response. Now, would you say that this requires transformative change, maybe in the way people think not just about the subject, but about themselves as well?
I think there's transformative change, but I also think there is impact. Like, what do we want for when our students, no matter what their gender expression or their diversity of background, come into our campus? What do we want them to do? We want them to be safe. We want them to feel heard and included. And if that means we have to ensure that we do the work to create that environment and lead that as an institution, I think we can be good examples of change agents in the broader community. So it's a lot of work, and it's not something that you're going to have to fix. Like I keep going back to, we can't fix this by applying a one pill solution to it. Everybody has to do their part about it. It would require some self-reflection as well, but I think there has to be the commitment to do the work to disrupt it as well.
Now, we hear terms like community compassion and responsibility to take care of our neighbors. What about community and responsibility towards our fellow humans? Does that play a role?
I think it's about, at the end of the day, we are all human beings. We want to feel that not because I show up as a transgendered person or a person with a disability, because of my difference, that my life could be at risk. So I do believe it's a collective responsibility to be a human and see the value of our humanity. And I think it's about redirecting us to see that our differences are not negative. Our differences are opportunities for innovation and creativity and for engagement. So wouldn't we want to be in a world where no matter what I look like or the position that I come from, I can feel safe to be authentically myself?
Do you think that through this training that your students are encountering inner work for the first time?
We talk about it a lot in academia about learning, relearning, and unlearning. I think we all have to do that inner work, and it's not just about the students. I think students, our faculty, our staff, and our leaders have to always have a reflexive approach in how they view their life, their work. So I do think, and I think that's an uncomfortable space for some people, like to do because you have to challenge some of your own ingrained beliefs and ideologies, and nobody wants to feel like they're a bad person, which is not what this is about. It's about really giving us an opportunity to really rethink and unlearn and disrupt our own personal biases about things that are different that we don't understand.
Well, that's it for this edition of Alberta Weekly. I'm Naveen Day. We will have more from Alberta for you again next week.